What is going on, everyone? I'm excited to be finally putting this first video out. I want to start by thanking those of you who have already subscribed to the channel for showing your support. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed and you're interested in seeing budget gear and you like the content, make sure to go ahead and do so. We want to grow this channel, start something out here. This week we're going to be taking a look at the Zebco 33. I have plenty of friends and family who would vouch for this reel, probably be a little irritated with me if it wasn't the first one I covered. Going into this video, I have to admit I was a little biased against the Zebco 33. I have not used a spin cast reel since I was a kid. The rod that the Zebco 33 comes on was a little bit off for me. I didn't like the handle. It's a little bit too short, so I swapped that out with a Shakespeare Excursion. I believe that's going to put the price point on this setup at around $55. So it's not real extreme or anything. That being said, the one thing I wasn't able to look past when I picked up this rod was the rod itself. The handle was a little bit short for me, so I upgraded the rod to a Shakespeare Excursion. That rod only cost $22. I've used it on several bait casters. I actually borrowed this from one of those bait casters. So if you're looking for a good rod, that is one I highly recommend. In total, I made 4 trips out. I had 2 different reel setups. I had a 33 Classic on an older model Excursion, and then I had a 33 Platinum on a newer model Excursion. They both worked pretty well. Like I said, I'm a little bit biased against the Zebco 33s, but I did find that the ease of use for these reels is something to be mentioned. I fish left-handed. I'm a right-handed person, but I do fish left-handed, and it is super simple to just swap the reel over. You have to unscrew from one side, just move the handle, screw it back in. Really simple, and I really like that. So I do have a few negative points on this. For me, I felt like I lost a lot of my accuracy when I was casting. There were times where I would be trying to cast under a limb and it would go way off to one side. And then again, there were times where I would go to cast under a limb and I would get perfect in the spot I wanted. And that may be just because I'm not used to using spin cast reels. Somebody who only uses spin cast reels may not have these issues. But that is something that I found while I was fishing with the Zebco 33. I do also have to mention that I did not like holding this reel all day. Every time I would go out, my hand would be cramping by the end of the trip because this thing is huge. It is clunky. When you're used to fishing with a bait caster, a low profile bait caster, and you go from that to this big cylinder on your rod, it makes for a difficult time. It is a lot harder to hold. So throughout this entire video, I'm using the same 2 lures. I may change the colors, but I'm using the same 2 type of lures. I am using a lipless crankbait, and that is because I've set a personal goal this year of catching fish on lipless crankbaits. I've never really had a lot of luck using them. The other is a Zoom trick worm. When I fish a trick worm, I fish them weightless. I actually have a short about that. If you want to go check that out, feel free to. But so when I fish them weightless, a bait caster has a lot of trouble casting a weightless trick worm. When you throw them on a spinning rod, it's a lot easier. If you don't like a spinning rod, the Zebco 33 is a great alternative for that because it can get those trick worms out there in the general area. Like I said, I don't think it's as accurate as a bait caster would be, but you can at least get it in the general area. That is where the Zebco 33 shines, is with those trick worms, those light lures that I can't cast on my bait caster. I would use the Zebco 33 to replace a bait caster with those light lures because it works really well. So my final thoughts on the Zebco 33, I have 2 recommendations for it. if you don't like spinning rods, which I already mentioned, it throws these light lures like weightless trick worm, something like that really well. It also throws beetle spins well. I did try a beetle spin out on it. It throws the lighter stuff very well though. So if you don't like spinning rods, this would be what I'd recommend going with right now. Or if you're just getting into fishing and you want something that is budget friendly, so you're not spending a lot just in case you don't like it, this would be a good reel to go with. And at that point, you might not want to upgrade the rod. You might just want to stick it out with the original rod, and that'll keep that price point down a little bit. If you've made it this far through the video, I really appreciate you. This is all new to me. I'm starting from square one. I'm working on getting better video equipment. I'm also working on learning to edit, so everything's brand new to me. I really appreciate y'all.
Oop. Nice pickerel. First one I've gotten on camera. Super excited about that. I think the cameras were a little off when I set the hook on that one, but I am super excited to catch that. That is a pretty fish right there. Gorgeous fish. I'm gonna get him back in the water.